Welcome back, everybody. The 11th episode of Three Dudes in Their 20s, featuring Grant, Tobin, and Will. Today we got Bentley and Professor Hilaire here. Professor Hilaire's dog.
Welcome, Professor Hilary.
Thank you, guys.
Clap it up for the boys.
Professor Hilaire is our choir teacher, men's chorus teacher as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
Amen.
he's a real good
Hallelujah.
guy. Yeah. Hallelujah. Preach about the gospel, man. It's awesome.
Thanks for being here today,
Yeah,
sir.
Absolutely.
appreciate it. So
First off.
I kind of open with a deep question.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Right. So your degree is in music. Why? Why music? What made you go get your degree in music, and then what made you pursue to actually become to teach music?
Well, at the time, I wasn't really that smart. I'm just going to be honest.
You're the smartest man I
I
know.
just thought it was the easiest way out, being honest. I thought music was just kind of a easy feel. I did it all my life. I just thought I'd probably coast through college. It wasn't until my senior year of college where I really started to get my life together and decided that I think this is for me. But more important, that music is the one thing that brings people together. And it should be used as a tool so people can see God's love for them. So, yeah.
When did your love for music start? When you were a little kid?
I'll never forget. I have a cousin who's on tour right now. His name's Charles Lumar. He's done things for Jimmy Fallon and a few other radio shows. Yeah, and he's a real deal. And so he introduced me to the trombone, and ever since that, I've loved the trombone, and I was just kind of fascinated by seeing him play. Yeah,
That's legitimately crazy because I'm not a instrumental guy. I'm a choral guy, as you could probably tell. Grant's having a great time over there. But ironically, that was first got into music through instrumental, and ironically, I was told I had to play the trombone.
really.
Yeah, so when I was in 4th or 5th grade, having to play in the band, I had to play trombone, which is odd. That's spurred kind of spurred my love of music.
I remember when I started, it was the 5th grade. The only reason I joined band, I knew I was going to join band. The only reason I chose to do percussion is because my buddy did it, and because I was going to be a trumpet or a saxophone. But I mean, I loved it. The more I was coming along and everything like that, and I never thought I would be a choir guy, I guess. But I do remember, my cousin, my dad, my uncle were all in the glitter and gold or the choir in high school. It's like St. Mary's version of the choir or whatever. It's you dance and sing. And I always kind of thought, would I regret it later on down the road, that I didn't do it? Because they all did it, I didn't have any interest at the time. But now that I've actually experienced choir, I've actually kind of learned to love it. And obviously I was very anti-choir, and he was bugging me every day to get into the choir room. And I was like, I really don't want to, but I'll try it out, It's hard to say. I can't really say no. So, yeah.
I think my kind of introduction to music was about the middle school age too, of performing, and then we had to either choose choir or band as a 6th grader, and there was a just really inspirational choir teacher. Reminds me a lot of you and Mr. Coffee, and it's hey, I'll give it a shot. And then I started loving it, really getting into it, and you know me, I go all in with stuff. So
Right.
there ended up being a solo part at the end of the year. It was a rap solo thing for this song, but I was I stood up and I did it. It's on YouTube.
It is on YouTube. Go watch it, please, bro. Bro, please go
Drop
watch
a
it.
link or something.
Please,
man.
go watch it.
I put on the Cincinnati Reds hat. I thought it was cool every day. But I was all in, so that was my spark for music. Ever since, it gets me through the day. But that was my next question was your implementation of music on a daily basis. How does that keep you going, or what do you use music for you?
So the first thing that's super duper important is you address the people that are in the room. So what is the thing that's going to reach them and the different backgrounds that's in the room? I think a lot of people, when they choose choral music, they tend to think about what they like the most. For me, it's more what are the kids going to like, but what backgrounds am I tapping into? Recently, I don't know if you heard our last concert, we did This One Rose. Will here is kind of a huge Irish guy, so
Favorite song.
not kind of, but more he loves it's Irish culture. And so, knowing that that's in the choir room, you want to try to tap into as many things as possible. You try to reach the African American students because more likely if we know that they were born in the church, you tap into the spiritual side, but then you also tap into your people that like classical by using the different major works, or major work composers, I want to say, Mozart, Haydn, Beethoven, So you just kind of got to be well-rounded. Music is an inclusive thing. So you want everyone to have that opportunity to experience all the different cultures, and music gives them that. If they never heard an Irish piece, although Will is proud Ireland, now you might have someone else that understands his background and his culture. So it's more about the people around you and what'll bring them together.
That's what I've always thought is sports and music. Those are like the two main things in my life that I always can seem to relate to somebody with. And then if I'm in a room with random people, it's like that's an easy talking point to really surround people to gather and just to talk and just kind of form maybe like a relationship, but just like a love for something. Because I think it's part of the daily life. I always sometimes wake up and have a song stuck in my head. I don't know about you guys.
Facts.
And music itself, just like sports, like they both tell a story, Like I'm always into like, something happens, like I write about it, or like writing kind of goes hand in hand with writing music or poetry or whatever. Like you write songs and create analogies that go along with it and stuff like that. And I think that's why we relate to music so much. It's because you hear the lyrics of something, it's like, wow, that's deep, So it's moving, So
Have you ever like made a song?
In the process of working on something.
Okay.
Yeah, even for the choir, we kind of tested it out one rehearsal. It's really like when you're writing, you want to like try to keep things within the chords, so that way it's kind of simple for everybody else. Recently, that was one of the issues I had. Like the bass line was kind of all over the place, while everything else fell into place. So, I do a little writing, but I mainly like conducting. That's my main thing. Mm-hmm. Conducting.
It's really into it.
Gets into it.
I love it.
yeah.
Love it. That's one thing I can say that I we've talked about this before, but why I love about you as a director, it's as I said, growing up, I was in choir all 4 years in high school and junior high before that, and I always had the band teacher who was told you have to do choir. So it was kind of like I've never had a choral, like a legitimate choral person before. And like I remember when you did your teaching demonstration, and I was there, and I was like, oh, dude, you brought me back because I'm locked in because your energy is infectious. That's what I say, and I'm a high energy person. I like to say I'm an energy giver, not an energy taker, right? So if like it takes a lot to give me energy, and when you get up there and you get into it and you go, I get so excited. That's why I love coming to class every day.
Have you always been like that? Like
Always been like that.
I love it.
Yeah. Most people have this thing about them that they care about the perfectionist side of music. I care more about the inspirational side of music. I think too many people, and you'll find a lot of conductors get into the fact of everything has to be precisely right. Stephen A. Smith, which I know it sounds crazy because you probably think about the one that's on ESPN.
Oh, okay.
Literally,
It's actually W. Stephen A. Smith, and he's the author of a book called The Naked Voice, and he says it's like the trip that you plan. Like so many conductors or music teachers plan a trip when they're teaching music, thinking that it's going to go exactly how, and it never goes that way. Mm-hmm. There's going to be something wrong with it, and I actually embrace that side of it. Because, people need more of the message than they need some of the notes and rhythms that's on the page, if that makes sense. And I tell people music goes beyond black and white, which means the notes on the page, because it's how you can take it outside of where it's written and make it a journey, not just for the ensemble, but for the audience and the people that you're trying to give a message to.
I definitely think I like just hearing you say like the perfectionist part, because that's something like in my daily life and academic and even athletic life, I've tried to implement that and have had to learn about that, because like you grow up and you're always kind of good at something, but it's like when you fail, it's like sometimes you have a perfectionist attitude or a mindset, and you have to, like you said, be able to adjust on the fly. And so, like, that's the thing that I've always been working on probably the past 2 years now, I guess, just to kind of embrace change and embrace, like, adaptability, And I feel like hearing you talk in class all about, like, because I think one time we were doing a song, and I think we had to go through it a few times, but then finally, like, you kind of stopped, and then you kind of took a break from us singing, and you kind of just talked about the message behind the song, and then it was like we just went from there. So like that just like spoke of like sometimes, whether it's schoolwork or like sports, like you just have to take a step back, and then go for it. You know, like it doesn't all have to go perfect at the right correct time. You know.
Like the main thing that I kind of think of is like the meaning behind the music, which that's what I love, and I love the way you explained why we're singing the song before we're singing it. I think of the movie I Can Only Imagine is about like Bart from Mercy Me or whatever. In that movie, like he wrote like the song I Can Only Imagine. I'm sure you guys heard of it, and he wrote it in like 5 minutes, and that's what he was telling like the interviewer on the radio station. He's like, yeah, I mean, I wrote it in 5 minutes, and then like the interviewer in the movie was like, this didn't take you 5 minutes to write, it took a lifetime, you know. And just the fact that it can be so powerful, happen so quick, but it took a lifetime to write, just it kind of makes you think, like, while listening to music and stuff like that, like, what do these people have to go through in order to kind of share their story? And then music's just kind of a way to share the story, which is kind of what we're trying to do in the choir. So
I mean, like, yeah, the message is huge for me because I'm a very I'm not a big reader.
Really, you're a history guy. That's
I'm a
surprising.
big talker, if you guys can't realize that. And that's how, like, I always remember growing up hearing things, right? Hearing, especially, like, I like going from, like, the history aspect, just looking at how songs were and what the message were in the 1980s versus they are right now, right? I know we talked about it in one of my history classes a couple weeks ago, 99 Red Balloons, right? And it kind of talks about how, if a like nuclear war would happen, this is why and why it would happen. And then now you have songs like I don't even know. I feel so old. I don't really like new music like that. But like you got stuff like Drake's putting out, like, and it's just like it's not the same.
Right.
It's not, and it's just it's very odd, right? To me to see how that can change, and just how the message of music can legitimately change because it went from just symphonies to words to automated. I don't even know what you want to call now trap drums. I was thinking trap drums from one J. Cole song. that's what's hot now, trap drums. But I don't know and that's the thing. Like I kind of agree with them. It's just the message is so important behind it, and I love hidden messages in songs too. When you're like, oh, he's talking about this. Oh, but he's actually singing about this. That's kind of what I love about music. Is there's more than one meaning to every piece you sing. So.
Growing up, were you like in a choir yourself? And
I started choir in 5th grade, but I was caught between band and choir when I was in elementary, so I did the band thing. And then when I got to middle school, I could do both, so I did band and choir, and I've been doing it since. I dropped band in 9th grade and kept choir since, so yeah.
what'd you play in band?
Trombone.
Yup.
Trombone, man.
Trombone.
Yup.
I don't know what it is.
I feel it. Like same thing with me. That's literally the same thing with me.
Yeah.
Sir.
Yeah.
Big dog.
Big dog.
So, and then kind of with that, talking about how you got there, how'd you get to Defiance? So, like, why Defiance? Like, why collegiate music?
Yeah, like affecting
'Cause I
our
know
age level.
Yeah, because I know
Dudes in their
class,
20s.
Oh, wow. Well, great plug there, bro.
So I was looking forward to just doing something that made me feel uncomfortable. Knowing that, you have the background to do it. And I'm one of those people that I'm willing to take on a challenge at all costs. And I think for the longest, I got comfortable teaching elementary music, but I knew that I wanted to teach on all platforms. So in order to do that, I had to put myself in a predicament where I was uncomfortable, which is now teaching SATB music. And I'm going to be very honest, like at first coming to Defiance, I was like freaking out scared.
Really?
Because my vocal training hasn't been the best. And so I was kind of wondering, like, am I cut out for it? But I'm a spiritual person, so I believe that God doesn't make mistakes. And I want people to know that God prepares the position before you get there, not while you're in it. It was already made for you before you got there. I think a lot of people tend to stress out, well, what if if it's meant for you, it's going to be.
Exactly.
You just got to take it on at all costs. And so that's kind of how I saw it. Everything aligned, the housing, Professor Thomas, Dr. Caldwell, like it all aligned. And when it all aligns, you just go with it. You don't question it.
It makes me think of a song that I was literally just listening to. I don't know if you've heard of Maverick City Music.
Yeah.
But there's a song that they put out. It's called "God Don't Make Mistakes," and that's kind of the chorus. It's like God don't make mistakes, and then it goes like, "What about me?" But then the whole point of the song is just reassuring the listener that he's got you in his plan and everything. But I think it's so true when things do align. It's like, yeah, you have all these signs like going for something. You just got to go for it, and I don't know. That's like what happened when he was asking us about the choir and lunch.
Mm-hmm.
He just kept pushing and pushing, and then obviously Will's in it, and then Tobin was kind of leaning towards it. So I was like, I don't know, the stars are aligning here. Let me just do it myself. And then, but I mean, I couldn't be more happier to be sitting here with Bentley.
Yes, sir. And to hear you say that you were kind of nervous or uncomfortable, that surprises me, because I remember the first day of class and you were locked in, you were excited, you were ready to go, and I was sitting in there, and I'll never forget walking in and people looking at me. You're in choir? You're in here? And you're like, oh, Will, let's go, like, and because you already had heard me sing and none of the people had, and I was like, oh, just wait, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be fun. So like that, and what you've done since then. I mean, you've done things for the music program here that haven't been done that I can ever even think of. Right, as long as I've been here, right, and as long he's been here longer than me, right, it's longer than he's been here. So it's one of those things where like for being nervous, you knocked it out of the park, legitimately, and you do it every day.
Bentley.
Going at you, my boy.
Hey.
High five is yeah. Yeah, keep that hand down. Yeah.
He found his play toy.
I guess so.
Grant.
Grant's the play toy.
I love it.
I guess so. Fire and the literal noise we're making. Like, how does that make you feel? That you're kind of in the front running of that.
I mean, it feels good to be in the front running, but I want it less to be more about me and more for it to be more about you guys having an opportunity to perform, and you guys getting an opportunity to put yourselves out there to show people that you're willing to do the work of God by spreading a message. Especially in today's society, we really need more good young men, and we need young men to see good young men, because there's a lot of things going on statistically. If you look, a lot of kids are in separate homes right now. So there's so many factors that come into play when I want you guys to sing for other people. It's not just because it's like, oh, this is a performance, but it's like, I see it beyond. Like, you guys are teaching the world the way we should live and receive each other. So that's all I want you guys to do when you get up there. Like, send a message to people that shows that, to society and the old generation right now that's saying that there's no hope for the younger generation, that there is. And you guys show and prove them that, that we can unite and find common ground in something.
That's so powerful.
Build me a world.
Build me a world.
So, speaking of that, I don't know why, I just thought to ask you. So out of how many songs do we know in men's choir? 4 or 5, something like that. And out of the probably like 8 or so we know in mixed choir, what is your favorite? What is your favorite piece that we have sang this semester and why?
So the unique thing is I performed them all before.
Really?
Yes, I performed all of them before.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently Bentley doesn't agree. But I've performed them all before. And whether it was honor choir, watching honor choir, or with my choir back home, I would say Refuge is my favorite. And the reason why I say that is because it saved so many people here at Defiance. There's so many stories that I've had kids come to my office and say, hey, this is where I was in life, but I hear that piece. Or like, I was struggling with this, and, now that I see a better outlook of what I could be doing. And so it's not my favorite because of, that it just sounds good. It's my favorite because it's the one piece that has brought a lot of people either to a spiritual being, or it's brought a lot of people out of a difficult situation that at first they didn't know how they was going to make it. But when they hear the song say, I still am free, and I can sing, and, from my spirit's great defeat, those, verses are so touching that it's inspired them, It's more like whatever song that'll get people to be better people. So that one and Build Me a World, I gotta say.
That's
Build
so
Me a
fire.
World, I like the literary device that the composer uses. like you were just speaking, it's a two-part meaning. You know, build me a world where there's no more sickness. You know, and God has done that in heaven, but also like, can we do it here on earth?
Yeah,
So
the best of
it has a two-part meaning. So I really like that.
We're gonna flip a little bit now.
Okay.
I know you're a big basketball guy.
Sure.
Enormous basketball guy. So I know we talked about this
Hoopers.
on Friday. Talked this on Friday. Who's your favorite NBA player and why?
Dirk.
Really?
Dirk.
Yeah, I see. Because great one there.
Swoosh 401, baby.
Yeah, I love Dirk.
Dirk.
Dirk is legitimately one of my favorite big men of all time.
There's a humbleness about Dirk that I really like. And you know, if you ever got a chance to watch him pregame, he's always talking to the other players. He's always like mixing himself with the younger players, like messing around with them. And I thought that was so powerful because, you know, he didn't have this like, I'm the star guy. He was always been a team player. He's always been like you got to put one foot in front of the other type of player, you know?
And lead with love? Yes, sir.
Yeah, and he does. You know, I love Dirk. So, and I mean, many people may disagree, but I believe like Dirk was the all-time shooter before Curry when it comes to spot up three. You know, I know some people have the argument that Ray Allen was a great he was, but I also think that was off the pass, coming off the pass. Like Dirk could pull it from the top off the pass, and then the 1-footer like that. That was like remarkable.
How tall
like
was he?
it changed the NBA.
Dirk's like
7'1".
Yeah, I was gonna say 6'11", 7.
That's
yeah,
unstoppable.
Like that. Yeah, Dirk's
Did you play basketball yourself?
I did play
So
my whole life growing up.
yeah, so like, you know, like music's really a part of our lives, right? And with sports, it's like I use music to get ready for like sporting events, athletics. So did you do that too? Like, what did you listen to pregame? Like, what got you in the mood?
Ooh, yeah.
This is actually gonna be surprising. I didn't listen to anything.
Really?
Yeah. Music
meditation?
actually was a distraction for me because I know most people, but I'd get like so hyped that it took my focus outside of. Yeah, I was one of those people like to be locked in. I had to be by myself, just kind of like thinking at the task at hand.
Because I mean,
Thinking
being,
of the task
being a
at
music
hand.
guy, you probably think about the music that you're listening to rather than performing.
Yeah.
In a sport. So I guess like
That makes sense.
And I have this thing like I really get into music. Like it's just like playing the sport to me. So it would be like having my two things. You know, it's like choosing one over the other at the moment. So yeah.
So I know you talked about going to college and being a college athlete. Can you talk a little bit about your experience doing that and how it either impacted you through college or made your college experience better?
Yeah. So at first, the tennis team I was around didn't receive me well. They were all foreign because tennis is a little bit different than some of the other sports. Most of the guys were from Brazil or some place in South America. And so it was kind of hard at first, like finding common ground with them because there's two different cultures. And so, you know, once we were able to come to a better understanding, they received me well and things changed. I think the thing that I took from college the most is, although my tennis coach wasn't great, his name's Daniel Prado, if he happens to watch this, there's one thing that he said to me that I took for a lifetime. He said, sometimes you got to lose now to win later. And I don't think people realize how important that is. You know, like you take the small losses to win ultimately. And that was me in college. I played the number 2 and I pretty much got my butt whipped. You know, kind of took a sacrifice to the team one year by playing number 2. Like I was a great, like I could hit the ball really good. Like, I mean, I have a nice, solid, heavy ball that, I mean, if you look at me, you'd be like, oh man, yeah, he's their number 2. But I was really like more like a 5'6" type of guy. So one year I did take one for the team by playing the 2. And I mean, I looked the part, but I was not a true 2.
Sure.
But it came to the cost as he kind of talked me into this thing, like you kind of lose now to win later. But in life, man, I took so many lessons from tennis and just doing what I did my junior and senior year for the team at playing 2 that, you know, that ultimately took on everything. And I wouldn't be in the position that I'm in today had I wouldn't done those things, you know. So, you know, I tell anybody, like, the biggest thing as an athlete that you should take care of yourself first, your team second. Because at the end of the day, like, once you graduate, you got to live life for yourself. I know you can be very team-oriented and stuff like that and your homeboys, but, like, you know, take care of yourself first, you know.
That's powerful. I know exactly what you mean when you say lose now to to win later. Ironically, I talked about it in our last episode. The athletic trainer at my high school and my mom, they always looked at me and they were always like, "You're a college guy. You're not a high school guy." And I never really understood what they said by that. I was like, yeah, it sounds good to say when you don't get anything, go get things you worked for in high school. And it took me till about, I want to say about January of this year to realize that. It was like in high school, I tried hard to win I couldn't win an election at all in high school. Bless you, big dog.
Bless you.
You good? Good. So it was one of those things where like I could never win president, representative. I couldn't win anything. It was one of those like I couldn't. Athletics was hard too. Everything was hard, and it was just like one of those things where you want to talk to? No? Okay, cool. It was one of those things where like I didn't realize what my mom said until I got till this year when I was student body president, and then started getting back into choir, like what things I loved, and then realizing I'm top 5 on a golf team. Like it just realized just some things I had realized. I was like, I understand what they're saying and when I was in high school, I didn't. It looked like I won, but I didn't win. Mm-hmm. I never won, and it was one of those things where like it taught me. I learned so much from not doing that to where I was able to do everything I want and then extremely more in college. So I completely understand what you're talking about. It's crazy.
We were talking about this at FCA one day, but it was like the sacrifice thing, and I think it holds true here too. Is like God allows things to happen in your life for a reason, obviously, but He's never going to push you over the threshold of something you can't take, but He's going to allow maybe certain failures or things, setbacks in your life, because He's testing you to hold strong to Him,
Yeah.
So it's then when you get on the other side and it's like 3 or 4 years later and you're looking back like, man, I just went through all of that, and it kind of makes you reflect on it. Like, thank you, God, for letting me go through that.
Right.
It's like, now I'm a better man because of it.
Come on, brother.
Yeah. So that's just what I think when you were talking, when you say that. Because I just know my whole life it's been the undersized point guard, the whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, I didn't care. I just continued just to work as hard as I could. And, because of that, like my very last performance, quote unquote, I think was my best because it just like encapsulated everything I've worked for. So it's funny how God works like that, but it's also really amazing.
He'll never give you anything you can't handle. And that's my big thing. And I don't know. I've had my experiences, my losses in my past, but like it's all shaped out to who I am now. It's just kind of how it goes.
So talk a little bit about. I honestly, I'm very. I don't really know much about tennis.
Yeah,
it's one of those sports. I'm a dog. I'm a dog at Wii tennis. Like I'm like that. I'm legit. So it's one of those things where like
Wii bowling.
What? Yeah. Wii bowling. Don't even get me on that. Wii baseball. Tank any of you. So what are some things about tennis that you really enjoyed? And like the rules are very complicated in tennis. I say but they're really not. But sometimes I don't know. They're weird. So can you like just talk a little bit about why tennis? Right? Because you said you played basketball. I'm assuming you loved basketball, but like why tennis?
Well, it was actually because I didn't make the basketball team that year.
Really?
I gave tennis a shot.
Really?
Yeah. And Sean Crochet, that's his name, Coach Sean Crochet. He
You want to have to send this to him.
yeah, he gave me a chance. Bentley.
It's okay.
He gave me a chance, and I was just so grateful for it. I didn't want to let him down. I'll never forget. One time, I heard one of the other guys on the team. He said I sucked, and he thought I didn't hear it, and he didn't want to warm up with me or anything because I wasn't one of the best on the team, and he was pretty good at the time. Mm-hmm. And so, man, I kid you not, like I trained super hard that summer, and I was like, I knew I was gonna come back like an actual tennis player. I was like, nothing's impossible. I found this group of old guys that would tell me like 6 o'clock, be up, ready to go. Yeah. If you're not there, you're lost. And they take me to go play with them during the summer. And I was terrible, but man, by the time I came back, I kid you not, to practice twice a day and working out, I came back as the number 1 on the team the next year.
You just put a little sacrifice, a little work in there.
And that same guy who said I sucked was supposed to be the captain of the team, took his spot too.
Hey.
Let's go.
Hey.
And
It's crazy.
it's just it's just I like challenges, like I said, so I just kind of saw it as one of those things, and you can't really tell me no.
That's
I'm one of those people.
You were talking about the older the older gentlemen or whatever that you trained with, do you have like any mentors, maybe not only in tennis but in music in general, just mentors that you have looked up to that through the years that God has blessed you with, maybe?
Yeah, and I'll share a story. Dr. Paxton Gertman, man, I got to Belhaven. I absolutely didn't care for the guy. I didn't think he was fair. I thought he was tough. I thought he was like super tough. And, you know, it wasn't until I was a junior that I realized that he was only preparing me for a world that was going to prejudge me. And I don't think that's what a lot of people realize. Like, the world already has this idea of who you're supposed to be. And, you know, you get one chance to prove it, you know. And so, you know, I was just overjoyed to tell him recently, like, hey, I'm going to be working at a university. And he was overjoyed for me too. But I thought he was like putting me through hell for no reason.
Yeah.
I thought he didn't like me. I just couldn't understand. But he only pushed me harder and made me go harder so that way I could be successful in the end, you know. So I would say he's one. There's a guy by the name of Mr. Casey Kirk. He was another professor I had at Belhaven. Mr. Kirk was awesome. Like, he was a little bit more chill and laid back. But he was always like, you know, you have a special gift that no one else has, you know. And he was like, I swear one day you're coming back to Belhaven to be a professor here. Yeah. And I was like, we'll see about that. So, but he, you know, he's awesome. So, yeah, you just kind of, I tell people network all the time, though, because, you know, there's a lot of people out there that know a lot of things. So, yeah.
Was having those mentors kind of pushed you to want to mentor others, obviously, and then maybe things that you've learned from them to how to implement when you mentor? You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think everybody that has like come in my life has brought something to the table. Everyone. And there's a saying that all of them, I could give you something that they say that they've all told me that I've never forgotten. So that way I could tell somebody else for a situation they might be in. I think that's what we're called to do in life in general anyway, is to give back. You know, I mean, not to be so spiritual, but, you know, the verse says we're called to serve, not to be served. So, you know, that's it, man.
You take a little bit from everyone.
That's what we mean. We talked about that after the concert, bro. That's what we try to do with this podcast. It was like the only thing that we try to do is just impact somebody. And I mean, which is the number of people that have viewed and then just complimented us or commented on our videos and stuff is just, it just means a lot to know that. It means a lot to like get feedback from when you know you're doing something positive, and then when you do, it just makes you feel real special, and to make you want to kind of keep doing it. I think
it's just the best seeing people, because like I went home over break or Easter break not too long ago, and like I heard like 3 people say like keep doing that, or like people that I haven't talked to in a while, people I didn't even think knew that I had a podcast, like just say like I have watched a few episodes, or like keep doing what you're doing, it's great. So it's things like that, like people are watching, people are looking, and you can take little bits and pieces from everyone to kind of make it, to kind of form your own self, to make yourself a positive way to impact other people. And
I think none of that would have happened if like it wasn't just like off the whim. We all just 3 agreed. We're like, let's just go do it, you know. So has there ever been like a time in your life where like, let me just go try this? I mean, I guess tennis maybe, but just like,
I mean, being here
on the podcast,
being here at DC, you know, that's it, man. That, you know, being here at DC was like a big thing, you know, and being a college choir director is kind of a glorified position for some people.
Sure.
And so, you know, I was kind of nervous. I'm like, am I cut out for this? Did I have the right training? But Melissa Dyman, who's at Prairie View A&M, like I said, try to take something from everyone that speaks to her. She told me, she's like, you're ready. She was a guy, God wouldn't have made it, you know, happen for you if you weren't ready. And most importantly, you're going into a place where there's someone that needs you right now more than you know it. Mm-hmm. And I want people to know that they have to realize that. That's why we have to give up this thing of what we have planned and give it to God, because it's one of those things where the alignment's already there. Like, you'll be put in a place where that someone that really needs you at the time that you don't even know. You know, like, I'll give you an example. Isabel Roth, Izzy, who's in the choir here, she told me how she was having a rough day one day, and I remember I was planning for choir, and I was just like, you know what, we're going to sing "Oh Love" by Elaine Hagenberg. We're just going to give it a shot, you know, I don't know. And so just specifically that day, she said that she was reminded about God's love for us, and her whole day turned around. And I'm telling the honest to God truth, I didn't plan that like weeks in advance. Like I just had picked it that morning, but it goes to show you how that alignment happens. Like you're doing something else for somebody and you don't even know it. Like there's that alignment that's already taking place to shape someone else's life, you know, or like, you know, once again, like I said, refuge, like you have someone who may be on the border of not knowing if they want to continue to live, and then they hear a piece like that and then they're like, I gotta keep going.
Yeah.
You know, like there's purpose behind life. So, and if you would have told me that in November, I would have told you I'm teaching elementary school for the rest of my life. You know, because at first, I'm not going to lie, when I first got here, I was like, there's no way in heck I'm staying here in Defiance. And, you know, something came over me about in the third interview. I was like, okay, I can do this. Like, I can see myself here. And, you know, I just started seeing everything else online. And I was like, I think there's something more to it than just like this being a job. Like, I think it's a calling.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Yeah.
And it is. And I'll say it until I'm out. Before long, after I'm out, I'm so thankful that you decided to come here and you decided to be our professor. And it's just like something that I like tell my parents. They're like, oh, you glad you got back in? I was like, kind of regret it. They're like, why? I was like, I don't want to ever leave again. So it's one of those things where it's one of the things because like it's the best part of my Tuesday, my Thursday, and my Monday, my Wednesday, and my Friday now. It's just it is, and it reminded me how much I love doing it. And now you got me when I'm singing in my car. I'm trying not to say R's. And I'm trying not to. I'm trying to do everything as I'm driving down the road. Trying to sing all this music. Yeah,
Stretch those O's out.
Trying to, it's one of those things where it's like
Just the soft palate.
Yeah, that's my goal. That's my goal. Trying not to sound like I'm singing. I'm here, you know. So it's one of those things where like I'm so thankful for it. I'm so glad it's back in my life because I said it was the one thing that's missing because like I went and got back everything I missed. You know, always did basketball, and then I went and got football back in my life, and then you know I went and got baseball back in my life, and it was like something was missing still.
Right.
And then now music's back. Everything's back.
Like when I joined, I mean, I had no idea that it was gonna be such obviously a good time, but just that you were kind of like spiritually, you know, we talk about the gospel, and like I think that's the addition of that it brought me, because like obviously sports and academics takes up a lot of my time, and then this past year we started up FCA here, which was great. So I always had that like hour a week, but now I have even another like opportunity throughout my day and during the week to like kind of just be with the Lord and stuff and just literally sing to him, you know, so that like keeps me going. And so yeah, I just want to obviously say thank you as well for being persistent, because I think that's something I've learned in my life too, that you have to be persistent. So that's like you being persistent to me has taught me that that's like my calling to be. If I want to get somebody involved in an activity or join a group or come on a podcast, it's like, right. I mean, how many times did I ask you? It's like, right. Or we ask you, you know, it's like, you taught me that. So, you know, thank you for that.
Because you weren't so like, oh, I can't wait to be on this podcast right when we mentioned it. We had to.
We kind of had to push them.
Oh, it sounds familiar, doesn't it, fellas?
Yeah. Yeah. But like my thing is like you talk about the music business a lot and everything, and that's cool, making connections and stuff like that. But I can just see, like, as much as you talk about it, as much as you might talk about the class, I could just see you're so much more than that. Like, I got a text at 9:45 the other night. Oh, come over for a seafood boil at 10:30 p.m. 10:30 p.m. We just go over to his house and eat crawfish that he just decided to make for us.
Oh, man.
Dude, like, so good, bro. Dude, it was so good,
like,
bro. Dude, it was
when has a professor ever done that? You know what I mean? Like,
at either school.
I mean, I think it's common here is like, I think the professors do a good job here of like getting in touch with the students. And so the fact that you just jumped on the train and now you're here, I mean, it just goes right along with just what Defiance, I think, is about.
Stuff like that means a lot more than
I think, you
realize, you know, so.
It's the little things in life, I think, go a long way.
Let's go.
What kind of made you kind of like, what motivated you to kind of be the persistent person in the room, I guess?
I think we're living in a time where we tend to be very judgmental of everyone, or we tend to want to say how other people should live. And I think that's just not how God was. And it's just, God invited everybody at the table. And that's just how I want to be. And I think we're so quick to say, well, this person is this and this person is that. But I think we forget that most importantly, if you show how love should be, then it'll attack the heart of everybody else. And that's just what God did in his walk. It was just because of his love that made people wanted to say, okay, I want to follow. Yeah, you be persistent, be consistent, and, don't force anything on anybody, but just let them experience for themselves. And just through the goodness of that, they'll want to change. People change on their own, not because, we force them to. That's what I tell people all the time. It's just like getting you guys to come to choir. I tell people all the time, I'm not going to force you to come to choir. I want you to just come see for yourself. Yeah. And if you like it, I'm sure you'll end up staying. I mean, that's how it goes.
Or money back guaranteed.
Yeah.
I think they're
usually
staying.
Weezy. They usually stay.
Shout out Weezy.
Shout out Weezy Dolo.
He always watches the videos.
Yeah, and I'm excited. He's going to be working on something for the guys' choir. He's working on beats and working on harmony. We're going to be collaborating
we like that
this weekend actually to do something. Yeah, and that's another thing I want to bring to the table is having a lot of voices and people having the opportunity. It goes back to that diversity thing of people having the opportunity to experience different things. I want to reach all cultures and all genres of music.
I'm a lover.
How is that like? So when you accomplish something like get a song down, does that always has there ever been a time when you're practicing for a song or something, but you just can't stop? You just always have that drive to.
It's all the time.
Yeah.
Dr. Stephanie Powell, she's at Auburn. She wrote a piece called "Still I Rise." It's based off of the poem of Maya Angelou. And man, I sing that song every day. Oh Love, I'm gonna continue to mention that by Elaine Hagenberg. I sing that song every day, but I realize how influential those songs have been in my life, going through tough things.
Yeah.
And also, it reminds me of those tough things and remind me how I've gotten through them, and in order to continue to be successful, I have to live that way, how they're speaking. So yeah.
Because I know whenever Tobin gets on the keys, man, sometimes we can't stop.
Bro, it's fun. It's so much fun. The thing of learning new music too, it takes a long time to that song I played the one day, that took a long time to play with
John Newman.
No errors, no, another one. But yeah, I still don't even have it down pat, and I've been playing for 2 months. You know what I mean? It doesn't come that easy. There's always going to be flaws, but
I feel like music's one of those things you always have to continue to do to stay. Oh, I think Will's talking about it, but you just have to stay involved.
Yeah.
Basketball, it's yeah, you can maybe take a few days or a week off and still be all right. But I don't know about music.
No, I don't think there's no days off for me.
Yeah,
bro. Nah, if you try to take coming back from Christmas was rough for some of our songs. It was or Christmas, Easter. Coming back Easter was rough because it was they're burning your head. Most notes are burning your head, then you get it. It's odd. It's odd. If you ask me to practice, I can do it all the time. But if you put me with the accompaniment and then with every other part, sometimes I lose it. Yeah. And it's kind of the double-edged sword. It's always been kind of my double-edged sword with me. I'm so I can project very well, and then you can hear me when I sing, and that's kind of the double-edged sword because when sometimes you mess up, may or may not mess up on the first note of one song in the choir concert. Yeah. Nobody knows except for me and of course the goat over here. He knows too, but we both know. So it's one of those things where
you just got to keep going though.
You got to keep going. Yeah, you got
to act like it doesn't happen.
So it's one of those things where it's you have to stay on the horse. It's like your golf swing.
Yeah.
It's like talking about golf with us, right? When you come back from not playing for 4 months, 5 months, right? When you walk back out in either March or April, when you haven't played golf in forever, your swing is going to be bad probably. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things where you're not going to be shooting. And hopefully, if you can be like me, you're not going to shoot 135 when you start. You might shoot 175 when you start. You never know, right? So it's one of those things where it takes a while. It takes a while to get back into it.
What about instruments, Tobin? Is it the same with that?
Instruments? Well, I know Well, I mean, I played so much like my senior year, and then I didn't really start picking back up till this year. So like freshman year, I didn't really play that much. I forgot almost every single song. I knew how to play on drums, piano, whatever, a little bit on guitar. I don't really know how to play guitar. I just know some chords, but like
Mighty.
But I mean, yeah, it's you definitely forget the less you do it, and you don't really forget how to shoot a soccer ball, you know.
Yeah, that's what I was.
I mean,
trying to
being consistent. The more you kick a soccer ball, you'll be more consistent. But like, you don't completely forget how to do it, you know. And with music, you still have the ability to play. You just forget it, muscle memory. Or
I guess like to go off that, like consistency. It's a big thing in my life. Like whether it be studying or sports or just eating right, staying healthy. Consistency is, I think, is one of the most important things you can do. Because even if you're not doing something a lot, at least you're being consistent. Like you're showing up every day. I think that's a big part. Do you think that for your life in general, consistency has been a part of it?
Yeah. And I think that's why a good bit of my friends respect me so much, or, people look up to me because, I kind of remain the same. And I kind of hold everybody to the same standard. I'm one of those people like, you show me who you are, but you get one chance, Your first impression is your last impression. So,
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
It's a big thing.
Yep. Something I'll never forget. My first job, the first real job I ever had, I worked at a grocery store. And I still work there to this day. And I'll walk into, there's like 3 signs in the door sometimes. And one of them is you get one chance to make a first impression. And that's something that's burned in my brain because it doesn't matter if I'm the nicest person in the world, if I'm the worst person in the world. Depending how my interaction is with you or whoever it is, right? That's how I am. Like, because if I'm in your class and I'm having a bad week and just don't do any work, that's the impression. Oh, he just doesn't do any work.
Right.
He doesn't want to do any work for me. So it's one of those things where it's like, well, I'm trying to, especially you can't do that with a boss. When I like to treat my professors like they're my boss. I can't do that to a boss one day.
Yeah.
Same thing with a coach. I can't treat my coach that way.
Right.
So it's one of those things where like, yeah, first impression's huge, and like, yeah. So like when you say that, that's always burned into my head.
I had a coach once that it was before like my senior night of high school, but he said like, we went to the gym and he turned like all the lights off, and like we were all sitting on our bench and we're just kind of like sitting there and just trying to take it in, because for some of the people like that was their last time on the court. And he was like, had us close our eyes, and he's like, if this was your last day on earth, like what would you do? Like how would you live? And so like that was kind of the opposite, like the flip side of your first impression but your last impression. So like, how do you go by that? Like, if this was do you go about that? Like when you live your life, like I always remember tomorrow's not promised. So I try to like wake up, make the best thing I can,
So I think all my friends would tell you, like, I lived so much to the extreme, that they're always like, we don't understand how you even have money in your savings account, because I'm always on the go. And I've always been like that. I was actually just telling Jalen Red that, I said, dude, when I was 18, 19, I was the guy that was like, let's get on the plane and go. And all my friends were like, dude, where are you getting your money from? Yeah. But I've lived that life, and I did, at 18, 19, I went to Colorado. I'll never forget. We went to New York, I've been kind of like traveling since I was 18, 19, and like just going and going, because you only get one life, man, and if you don't live it, then, it'll pass you by.
You can make your money back another time.
Yeah.
You got the rest of your life.
You can always, my dad and I always talk about this when relationships don't go my way. He always looks at me and he goes, dude, relax. And I'm like, well, he's like, why are you mad? I went, I can make more money, I can make more memories, but I can't make more time.
There you go.
That's the thing my dad and I always talk about. So when you say you can't make more time. So if you want to go do something, why don't you just go do it?
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Oh yeah, I know.
Me and Tobin, like, we've already been like talking about some things, like whether it be skydiving, or, like we want to go to Florida.
You go skydiving.
You want to go skydiving? But it's just like, it's just like, yeah, like
Ghost Rider.
I think I've learned that too the past couple years is, I guess obviously you grow up in today's age and it's all about like save money. But sometimes those experiences, like Will said, are worth more than, $50 or something. So that's like my always encouragement is to people. Obviously, everybody's in their own situation, and I have to respect that. But it's just like sometimes that you could make a life-changing memory or have a life-changing discussion.
Right.
You know. So we're gonna play. It's called ABC 1 2 3 Do Re Mi. I don't know. That's what me and Tobin came up with. Basically,
he started spitting rhyme. He started freestyling.
I started freestyling, trying. So basically, the alphabet, right?
Right.
26 letters. Am I correct? Yeah. We're going to use 25 of the 26 letters, so excluding X.
Okay.
We're going to go around, so it's going to be you two versus me and Tobin. And it's going to be kind of back and forth. You have to say a title of a song with that letter.
Starts with a letter.
Starts with that letter.
They're gonna make me like rap. I was about to lose my mind.
Yeah, you have to freestyle. You don't know.
Because you could look. Because like swear, run that back. Look at my face the whole time he's explaining that.
All right, here we go. So the first letter obviously is A. What's your song?
ABC by Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5.
So do we have to do an A? We have to do a B.
I say we do a B.
Yeah, you just keep moving on.
Baby by Justin Bieber.
That's a good one.
Christ be our light.
Oh, let's go. Let's go. That's a bop.
Like
That's a bop, though.
song.
That's a
Hey,
bop.
I got
My
it.
favorite Catholic hymn.
It's a bop.
Dougie.
It's not the name of the song.
I don't know what the name of the song is.
Oh, that doesn't count then.
Oh, well then.
These
B.
guys.
Yeah. Oh, shoot.
I got one.
I got one.
Dreaming. Small pools. You guys don't know.
I was gonna
it's a
say
FIFA song.
Dreamville.
Dreamville.
I would have said "Don't Stop Believing," but okay.
Dude, you got the classic in you, man. On the spot. All right. E.
E. You got one for E? No, if you got one, go.
No, Evermore.
Oh, Foo Fighters? That's a good one, man.
That's why I got the goat with me, bro.
F.
Free Falling.
Free Falling.
I had one there, but it wasn't. It one goes by Drake.
Okay.
G.
You're thinking too, right?
That's playing by Drake.
Yeah.
bro, I ain't got to talk.
Hello, Adele.
Hello. I.
I just can't stop loving you, Michael Jackson.
So J.
You say he's just a friend.
You say he's just a friend.
Oh, baby.
Well, they got that one.
Well,
K. K.
JK. No, we have L
K.
too, because we have L next.
So I'll say it.
I think it's no, that starts with an I.
Do you know Bentley?
Yeah, you got one. Yeah, that's the exact reaction I would have. I got "Keep on Loving You," but that's not the name of the song. I guess I just can't
You can't think of one?
keep on loving you.
I'm just trying to give him a shot.
Keep on loving you. Is that no? Keep on loving you. Is that the name of the song?
Yeah, it starts with K. Keep.
Yeah, keep on loving you. Yeah, that's the name of
Well,
the
who's
song.
it by?
I don't know. It's from the 80s.
Okay.
Should we do artist afterwards too?
Oh, bless it.
Oh, we could do artist the third
Ooh,
round because
that'd
it'll
be
probably be
tough.
tied.
All right, keep going.
So L.
Probably.
Love Me Again.
Love Me
John
Again, John
Newman,
Newman.
finally. M.
It's M.
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 At least said N. I
said M.
Go crazy. I'm on M, correct, sir? Not
Correct.
N.
Correct. M as in mom.
M as in mother. Okay.
Johnson.
Dude, why am I blanking on all?
Motherless child.
There
I
it
was gonna
is.
say with
Step
mom.
up. Step up. N. Tobin.
We're N, right? Never Take It. 21 Pilots. I'm a big
Oh.
Pilots guy.
O Magnum Mysterium.
Yes, Bob. Y'all don't even know.
I don't.
Y'all don't even know.
I love it.
Pumped Up Kicks.
Pumped up kicks, bro. I was thinking that.
Bob, dude.
That is a bop.
Oh, we get the Q.
Q.
Oh.
God.
We're going to Q
It's
next.
gotta be one with like quiet.
Or quit.
Quit, yeah. Quiet or quit.
You have a one for Q?
What's the Q
What's
answer?
the one for Q? Do you know?
Come on, Bentley.
Come on, Billy. Speak. Speak.
Quit
Speak.
playing with me.
Quit playing with people. That's gotta be
I'm
one.
sure there's a song.
There's definitely a song. I'll Apple Music that right now.
Just do it.
Do it.
Yeah. Look up Q song right now. But if you find something that's not, don't
Quit
tell us because
playing
we
with
have a next. We have next one.
Yup. Then there's like 12 of them, so I ain't gonna
Okay.
do the vibe.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Dog. I got the
R.
goat here. I ain't gonna do nothing. I gotta think of one.
You don't know.
Rule the world.
That's
I'm pretty sure that's.
That's called Everybody Wants to Rule the World. That's the name of the song.
is that the same one you're thinking?
That's definitely the one he was thinking of.
Ride 21 Pilots.
Oh, Ride, yeah.
Taking my time on my ride. Yeah.
Big 21
I don't
Pilots.
know why I just thought of two. It's weird.
S.
Survivor. Destiny Child.
Mm-hmm. T.
Two Moons ukulele. Or like, you ever heard? Or is that a band? Two Moons. You ever heard of them?
No.
No. Two Moons is a song. Yeah.
I was just gonna say.
No.
By Boys with Uke.
Well, you said
Or something
the
like that.
song you taught me.
Why do you get the hard letters?
No, we don't. Umbrella Rihanna.
Oh, that's
Umbrella.
Get Flex on. I was thinking the U2 song.
Oh.
That's Flex.
What's the next letter?
V.
V.
Valerie.
Versace.
Valerie.
Really? With or without you, U2.
WX. We got Y now because we're not doing
Yeah.
X. Y.
Y.
Your love.
Young, Wild, and Free.
There you go.
Yeah,
Z.
Z. Man, we out here getting.
I don't.
You know one?
I don't even know Z, bro.
I feel like there's a song called Zeus.
Probably is. Probably a Zoo song, but
Interesting.
that's crazy. We really
That's
got
a cool game.
We really got Q, U, and Z.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
I mean, look
Bro,
at
I got a bunch of U's.
Wait, U's easy. Z's tough, bro.
I don't even think I have a Z
Dog, what?
in my.
I definitely do not.
Do you guys want to do artists next?
Let's do artists.
Artist probably easy.
Should we get A? Should we get A?
I'm seeing if I got a Z song in here, bro.
I don't know any.
Bro, should we do numbers too?
Like a number song.
Dude, I don't have Z, bro. There's no
21
Z.
Guns.
I mean,
Green Day.
I'm gonna do 24 by Kanye West.
Okay.
Kobe.
What? 1942 Flows by Meek Mills.
Yeah.
1942.
0 to Hero.
There you
There
go.
we go.
I
Gotcha.
forgot about the number.
W.
0. All right.
All right.
So
Artists.
Artists
I'll start with the
called
A.
You guys can
I'll start with the A.
Avicii.
Avicii, yeah.
Beat Bo Burnham.
Bo Burnham.
I love Bo. That's my guy.
Um,
Bo Burnham. That's my guy.
Cat Stevens.
Oh, great. Remember the Titans.
D.
D. As in dog.
Donald Glover.
E.
Crap, man.
I got my next
I was
one.
about to say Everlong.
I already got one. I got two. I got two right now. I got two for F, bro.
Gosh. I'm blanking.
Man, we went already? Man, it sounds like we went already.
Do you know what E one?
Yes. I got mine.
Elephant in the Room. Is that one?
Oh.
What?
I've heard that
Band.
before. It's a
I've
band.
never heard of that.
I think he's correct. That
He
is-
probably is. Well, I was going to say
Good job, buddy.
Ella Fitzgerald.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, Elton John. Elton John.
It's funny how it comes after, right?
That's how it works, dude.
Oh, my God.
Elvis.
F, Frank Sinatra and Frank Ocean.
Oh, man.
I was going to say Foo Fighters for him.
Frank Sinatra,
G.
Frank Ocean.
E, F, G.
Grant Johnson.
No, you don't count.
Darn it.
Rapid
I am on SoundCloud.
I've heard that too.
No, it's bad.
It's pretty
Dude. G.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, I got one.
Wasn't that a TV show, Will? The Giggles?
Or are you thinking of the Wiggles, dog?
Oh,
The Wiggles. I watched the Wiggles. I was
Now? Man.
Garfield. There's got to be someone out there named Garfield.
Garth Brooks.
Garth Brooks, boom. So I'm going country too. Hank Williams.
Oh.
I didn't even think about
Jr.
country.
too, both of them. See, I don't know why. Good try, boys.
Man.
Tobin.
Don't throw a spotlight on me. We're both got a thing.
Me. Don't throw it on me.
Isabella. Is that a...
It's about what?
Izzy.
Izzy.
You should have just said Iggy.
Iggy.
Yeah,
Iggy
yeah.
Azalea.
There we go.
Hmm.
J. Whoever you want.
Joseph Haydn.
There you go.
Joseph Haydn. I'm sorry.
Joseph.
Joseph Haydn.
I think John Legend.
Okay.
John Legend. John Legend.
Yeah.
K.
Both of them. I got one. All ready for K.
Kiss.
Kiss.
The band. Mm-hmm.
Enough.
Expanding our music here.
We got L.
L, yeah.
Louis Armstrong.
Eminem.
That's a good one.
Did you say Eminem?
Yeah.
You missed one for E there. K. Kendrick Lamar. That was pretty easy.
Kendrick
I.
Lamar.
Ice Cube.
He always talks about Kendrick Lamar.
I. Ice Cube.
Are we on him?
Oh, I thought we had M.
They're up. Yeah, they're up.
Because you did L.
We did L. Yeah.
So
What was
Eminem.
your artist?
Louis Armstrong.
Okay.
Louis Armstrong. Do you know what it means to miss New Orleans? Because I do.
Yes. Great.
Because I do. Because I do.
You know what it means to miss.
Oh, this is gonna be the outro.
in this city's night and day. Come on, sing it.
Jeffrey Pounds, if you're watching
I
this,
know
man,
I'm not
telling you.
wrong.
They love this
The
New Orleans
feeling's
Jeffrey.
getting stronger the longer I stay away.
Shout out to Jeffrey Pounds. Now.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to Jeff.
We got Eminem.
Eminem, baby.
Why are you saying Eminem?
Because it starts with M.
No, it starts with an E.
Oh, shit.
Dummy.
I'm thinking of like, dude, look at the Eminem.
Well, I bet.
Money bag, yo.
Should have said Marshall Matters.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
Michael.
Jackson would have been mine.
What we got? N.
N.
Nickelback.
Neo.
Neo. Miss Independent.
That's my song, bro.
Buckets.
That's my song.
So what are we at? N. O.
Oh.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
We just took that dub. That's what that is. We just took that dub.
Is there any artist with an O?
Don't look it up.
Oswald.
Oswald what? I don't know. You don't know. You don't know, right? You don't know.
Start saying random O names.
Oliver.
I was thinking Oliver. Remember?
Shout out Big O. Shout out Big O.
Witten Bomber.
The Wittenbomber.
Ohio State band.
Ohio
an
State
artist.
marching band.
That's got to be an artist.
Crazy.
Tell me what it is.
That's all we got.
Oh wow. What's that for O? I'm dyslexic.